Hey guys, SMD here, and this is when to buy and when not to buy Quelling Blade. So you can buy Quelling Blade for last hitting. For the most part, Quelling Blade is bought to help you with last hitting. For example, when landing against enemies with higher base damage that could otherwise easily outlast hit you. However, you can also buy it when you have more damage than your opponent to increase your advantage even more and make it pretty much impossible for him to deny you. Quelling Blade has somewhat of a bad reputation as being an item for people that can't last hit. That's not the main reason to buy Quelling Blade, but if you do have trouble last hitting, getting a Quelling Blade will certainly help. So when I started playing, I actually did hear about that a lot. This was a long time ago at this point, many years ago. And I heard a lot of people saying how Quelling Blade was just for like bad players who don't know how to last hit, so I sort of didn't want to buy the item. And then I actually heard Purge put it quite nicely, where he said, if a Quelling Blade gets you 3 last hits and then you sell it, you've basically paid for itself anyways. And obviously you don't really want to buy an item like with intention of selling it later on, but if you are missing last hits on a melee hero, Quelling Blade is probably something you'll want to pick up. And another thing that I realized when I was somewhat of a new player is that when I watched a lot of professional games, basically every carry player would buy Quelling Blade. And the reasons for that is it can just help you push out the lane faster. If you want your supports to pull or something, you'll just guarantee that you're not really missing any last hits. And it's just a lot of damage for not too much gold, so it'll help you farm the jungle and farm lanes and just get every last hit that much easier. So it's not really an item just for bad players that can't last hit. It's an item that most players buy on almost every melee carry, or even melee core, as it's bought on a lot of mid lane melee heroes and off lane melee heroes as well. So you can also buy this item to just accelerate your farm. Sort of like I was just saying, Quelling Blade is by far the most cost efficient damage item against creeps. For comparison, Blades of Attack cost more than twice as much and provide half as much bonus damage. Demon Edge provides around twice as much damage as Quelling Blade and costs around 2,000 more gold. With that in mind, Quelling Blade is a great item to accelerate your farm and kill creeps quicker. This is especially true when farming the jungle, since killing lane creeps more quickly but still having to wait the same time for a new wave to arrive doesn't speed up your farm. So for Battle Fury, Quelling Blade is a component of Battle Fury, so it needs to be purchased in order to complete the item. Due to the way Battle Fury is used as a farming item, Quelling Blade is a very natural item to buy early, as it will eventually build into your Battle Fury anyways, while speeding up that farm towards your Battle Fury. So for the chop ability, for the most part, chop ability is a nice bonus to have, but not the reason for buying Quelling Blade. However, it is a viable option for melee heroes, especially supports that have no way of dewarding without it. For example, Night Stalker with an Aghanims and a gem, so you don't have to waste your fly to get on the hill to kill the wards or anything like that. You can just chop them down with the vision that your axe is granting you. It can also be used to cut down your own paths and tree lines. This can be extremely useful for juking. Check out the advanced video for more on that. And also used by heroes such as Keeper of the Light to find safe places to illuminate, and Pudge to get a better angle on a hook. You can also cut down trees so you'll be able to path more freely from camp to camp. It can be strong against heroes like Monkey King with his Tree Dance, Tree Ant Protector with his Nature's Guise and Eyes in the Forest, or Nature's Prophet with his Sprout. The ability to destroy trees can also be extremely beneficial. When not to buy. If you're having an uncontested free farm lane and you aren't looking to jungle, for example, due to the way your hero works or your team's game plan, or if you have other abilities to speed up your farm, consider saving the gold in the inventory slot. So for most cases on every melee core, especially carries, you're most likely going to want to buy a Quelling Blade. The only real exception I can think of right now off the top of my head is Meepo. Lately people aren't really favoring Quelling Blade on Meepo. They like to stack Wraith Bands as they're cheap and give all of his clones more stats, whereas Quelling Blade only buffs up the main Meepo's damage, and by buying a lot of Wraith Bands you run out of slots really quickly, so you don't really have a slot for the Quelling Blade, and you don't really benefit from it that much. So remember that it's generally a bad idea to get Quelling Blade as one of your starting items when playing in the side lanes. It's easily purchased from the side shop, and starting with it will leave you with less gold to spend on items you can only get from the base, such as regeneration items or a stout shield. That being said, it can be a good item to start with on the mid lane on melee heroes. So for when to actually buy the item, like when in the game to go and pick it up, as the first item after entering the lane, it can be pretty good if you're a low base damage hero like PA or Juggernaut. But generally what I'll do is I'll buy a wand first, as I rush wand on most carries. So what I'll do is I'll buy my wand and then I'll buy the Quelling Blade after. That would be more on heroes with high base damage like Sven or PL, who don't really need the Quelling Blade that much to help them CS in the first few waves. But on the lower base damage carries like PA and Jug, I'll normally go for the Quelling Blade and then go for the wand after. Alternatively, sometimes if you're keeping the creep equilibrium pretty close to your tower and your supports are zoning the enemy offlaner, what you can do is go for boots. Say you can't really get to the side shop to buy the Quelling Blade anyways, and you're getting every last hit and deny. You can just go and buy boots if it ever ends up pushing out, or if you just want to maybe potentially miss a CS for it, or if you've already killed enough of the creeps and the other ones that are left are full HP, you can go run over, buy boots so you have kill potential with your supports who are zoning the enemy offlaner. You can just buy your Quelling Blade anyways since you're basically uncontested in that lane. And then what you would want to do then is just buy your Quelling Blade after you've gotten your boots and your wand, probably. So if you're playing an offlaner and you're in like an uncontested lane, or the supports are just pulling, you're against a dual lane maybe, but the support isn't even trying to zone you, you can buy a Quelling Blade really early, so you'll just be able to get last hits easier. But if you are against like a Razor or an Ursa who are constantly trying to chase you down, or even like a Jug for example, who could potentially be rushing boots himself, trying to spin you down with his high move speed advantage, then you can just buy Boots of Speed instead of Quelling Blade as your first real pickup from the side shop. Mid and late game, Quelling Blade can be good on some supports like Coddle or Night Stalker if they have a gem and an Aghanim, so they can get that vision advantage and just kill every ward. So to summarize, buy Quelling Blade on basically every melee core, whether that be an offlaner, a mid laner, or a carry hero, and normally buy it as one of your first or second items, either before or after a wand usually. And just keep in mind that Quelling Blade is not an item just for people that cannot last hit. It is a very cost-efficient item that will speed up your farm immensely. That was when to buy and when not to buy Quelling Blade. Thanks for watching, and leave a comment below.